Hello everyone, my name is Gerardo Arias. This is my final assignment for the curriculum design class in the Framingham Masters. Um, the objective of this presentation is actually to align three different classes that we have in Lincoln High School, three classes of entrepreneurship. The first class is already defined, the curriculum is already made in a partnership with Babson University. The name of that class is Entrepreneurship. It is a mandatory class for ninth grade. We also have a couple of elective classes named Advanced Entrepreneurship and Entrepreneurship in Action, which are actually the curriculums that we want to align. Here's the deal. Um, Entrepreneurship is actually one of the four strategic anchors in the Lincoln School strategic plan, right? And we are also building an innovation and entrepreneurship center. The idea for this workshop is actually to align everything in order to create an entrepreneurship journey that can be used not only by teachers who are going to be teaching the entrepreneurship classes, the entrepreneurship curriculum, but also to give visibility of the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center and contributes to the alignment of the key performance indicators defined in the strategic plan, right? So for this, I have built this workshop, which uses the design thinking methodology in order to make teachers, admin, not only high school teachers, but also middle school teachers or elementary teachers into understanding what entrepreneurship means and how can it be incorporated into classes, right? So this would, for one side, create kind of a vertical alignment during the years of entrepreneurship vocabulary for the different grades, right? And also this would create or help build the entrepreneurship curriculum that is to be given in the advanced entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurship in action classes. So let's get started. The goals of this workshop are, number one, to get familiar with entrepreneurship vocabulary, not only high school, but also middle school and elementary. We are also going to be proposing a couple of topics for these two elective classes, Advanced Entrepreneurship and Entrepreneurship in Action. We are going to be building a lesson prototype, or rather the result from the lesson prototype that students should be building or doing while taking this class. The fourth goal is actually to align with the Lincoln strategic anchors and finally align with the new Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. And for these last two, we'll have a couple of resources later on during the presentation. So in order to get started, the first slide or the first part of the conversation in the workshop would be an icebreaker, enabling people to define and discuss by themselves for their experience, for whatever they have heard before, what is entrepreneurship? What is the first thing that comes to their minds when discussing or hearing about entrepreneurship? Is it business? Is it impact? Is it social action? What is it? And what do you think it should be? All right. If the teams can share with examples, that would be fantastic. The idea for this is to be working in teams of 4 or 5 people. It could be mixed between high school, middle school, elementary, or depending on the focus, actually, it wouldn't that be a bad idea to have a few teams just directed to high school and then some other mixed teams in order to have more tangible credibility of what the curriculum for these additional classes, for the elective classes, should be. After discussing what is entrepreneurship and during the icebreaker, we are going to be sharing a little bit about what is the current entrepreneurship curriculum for the first class. This class is divided into three phases: inspiration, ideation, and implementation. These three phases are built from Babson's entrepreneurship program, which Lincoln School has an agreement to follow, right, for this class. So this is a curriculum that can't be changed. We cannot modify this. We need to follow this and, teach the class as it is. However, there are a number of interesting topics that are discussed during this curriculum. And also, there are a number of growth opportunities for a couple of lessons that aren't as deep as some of the others are, right? So some of the professors or teachers who already have experience in teaching this class, in teaching this curriculum, can also share and discuss with some other professors and teachers on, what are the possibilities for this class? How can you keep alignment and still, complete the class, but also having the opportunity to add this additional ingredient that is, personalization and customization. So after discussing this, the groups would actually be discussing between themselves, between the people who are in each of the team. Does this align with the previous definition of entrepreneurship that they have shared in each team, right? Is there something missing? Is there something extra or different that they would be adding here? Next up, each team would be defining at least between 3 to 5 topics to learn in each of these classes in advanced entrepreneurship and in entrepreneurship in action. We're not looking for a lot of topics because this would kind of be aligning into the same phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 of the previous class for entrepreneurship, but rather we just want to build the curriculum around 3 different axes, right? Now, the idea here is not necessarily that they are linear ideas or modules, but they can be different. The idea is that actually these 2 classes are elective classes, right? So students could take advanced entrepreneurship without taking entrepreneurship in action, or they could take entrepreneurship in action without having been registered for advanced entrepreneurship. However, it would be ideal for the students of these 2 classes that they have already taken the entrepreneurship mandatory class, right? So let's just have a brainstorm in the teams, right? And see which would be the 3 main topics, the 3 main takeaways that we want our students to leave the class with these 3 ideas. After discussing these 3 ideas, we are going to compare these ideas with some key concepts that come from the Teaching Entrepreneurship book, a practice-based approach by Heidi Neck, Patricia Green, and Candida Brush. The idea is that here, during the entrepreneurship classes, we should be incorporating play. We should be incorporating empathy, creation, experimentation, and reflection, right? So the next part of the discussion would be to ask the team, so how can you incorporate these key elements into your previous brainstorming ideas? Do you think they align? Do you think they don't? Would you pick 2 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 5 in order to incorporate into which one of these classes? Okay. After having that discussion, the next part in the um, design thinking workshop is actually to go and ask people, go learn from the people who are involved in the project. Um, not only involved but also compromised in the project. So we have, for example, Nicole Borish. She's an MBA specialized in business entrepreneurship and economics, and she has previously written advanced entrepreneurship curriculum. Ellen King is specialized in curriculum writing in our school. Mr. Scott Garen is the high school principal and academic director, so it would make sense for everything that is discussed and that comes out as a result of the class alignment that would be aligned and matching the academic needs of and goals of the high school. You are also going to be discussing with Sara Estrada, the new director of the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. Um, she has already organized a summer camp program in entrepreneurship and innovation, which was, a very interesting success. Um, and the idea is that this center can train more students, not only at Lincoln School, but also from different schools, even from public schools, creating alliances with the private sector companies that train or that provide funding for um, scholarships for some students to be incorporated into these classes. Finally, you are also going to be discussing with Iris Prada. She's a member of the Lincoln School Directing Board. The idea is that each of these teams is going to be having a discussion with one of these experts and learning from them what are their needs, what are their goals, and what resources do they have in order to build and align with, with the entrepreneurship ideas, right? Okay. So these experts are going to be rotating from team to team. So you might want to take from 3 to 5 minutes each team to be discussing with each of these experts and learning from whatever needs and goals they have and what resources can they use in order to align. So after this discussion, after these interviews, an internal discussion with each team. What are the main takeaways from these interviews? Um, Now learning what are the needs of the people who are looking for the entrepreneurship alignment to happen, what do you need to change in your initial proposal ideas? Would you keep your topics for these classes? Would you change those? Would you modify those somewhat? Okay. Next step, you are going to be building a prototype. For 30 minutes, you are going to be working together to choose one of the topics that you have previously defined. Okay, so you are going to be taking the input from the interviews. You are going to be building a product that the students would be able to create during the lesson that you are proposing, right? And after building this prototype, each group will be sharing what is the product that your team has actually built by following your own lesson, your own proposal. Okay, so after this creation and prototyping, the next idea is to align. Okay, we're going to be starting alignment. And for this, we're going to be discussing about what does it mean for Lincoln School as a school to have the strategic anchor number four being entrepreneurship, right? Establishing our leadership in entrepreneurial education in Costa Rica and the region, right? So for this, there are four main divisions or topics: building academic connections, student mentoring, capacity building, and partnerships and networking, right? So this is what the fourth strategic anchor is about. And next up, a way to achieve this anchor is actually by following the key performance indicators. So, for example, all of the students in ninth grade need to take the class, increase the number of participation in entrepreneurship electives, which is actually what we are trying to do here with this alignment. And, student venturing and deploying an Olympiad and launching different programs, increase the number of student participation in the Lincoln Incubator. Um, Also, this is the first part of the KPIs, and for the second part, we are also talking about capacity building, so training more staff that knows what entrepreneurship means and how to be applied in classes, right? How to um, build up the number of people who can talk about ET&A or entrepreneurial thought and action in our classes. And finally, increasing the number of partnerships and networking that we have by the means of not only the education at Lincoln School, but also the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center, right? Having more friends or having more companies who come to us and fund scholarships for um, other students that are not part of the Lincoln School, for example. Collaborate with the public education ministry in order to train staff or train teachers who would in at their time be given providing the entrepreneurship class for students outside of Lincoln School. So once that people are familiar with the strategic anchor and how to measure how close are we to where we want to go by understanding the KPIs and how are we measured, okay? Um, Here comes a reflection, a team reflection. Does our product that we just created during the prototyping phase, is it aligned with the entrepreneurship strategic anchor? Does it represent one or multiple of the KPIs? How big of an impact can they have? And even it would be very interesting to have people understand and collaborate. How can they share and work together in different areas of Lincoln School in order to foster an entrepreneurship mindset? After this discussion, a new alignment, a new verification with academic texts, right? So, for example, Hart's book on classroom exercises for entrepreneurship, where it says that in these entrepreneurship classes, we should have ideation, we should have action. There should also be a space for introspection and reflection, and finally tying everything together. So how close are we? I mean, do our class is aligned with this proposal from Hart? And, once again, how can we incorporate these ideas into your previous brainstorming sessions? Next up, once that you have built and refined your discussion and your lesson proposal, the interviewees are now going to be working as customers or as kind of a Shark Tank, right? Where you are going to be presenting your ideas. So everywhere from 5 to 10 minutes by team. You're going to be working on sharing the ideas, sharing the presentation of what do you think can be done in an advanced entrepreneurship class or in the entrepreneurship in action class. Um, and you are going to be receiving feedback from these 5 people that you have previously interviewed. So be ready to write down your notes, take take the ideas, take the feedback, because I mean it's that team who is finally going to be the responsibles and accountable for implementing this new curriculum alignment. So your proposal, your solution should be aligned to what this team is needing. One final reference in the entrepreneur roller coaster, Darren Hardy speaks about managing resources with passion, fight for what you want, and keeping the strength to move forward. Defining success, but also sell with empathy, which is on my on from what I've seen, not something that has been shared before in the other classes, in the other references. I'm sorry, not the other classes, but the other books. So once again, do you agree with what Darren Hardy is sharing here? Can you incorporate these ideas? Can you modify your proposal into moving forward? With this, we go back to the drawing board. Now that we have the interviewees' experience, needs, resources, goals, we have also checked for alignment with the key performance indicators in order to get to our strategic anchor number 4. We have also checked with 3 different book sources on studies and experiences on how to teach and how to practice entrepreneurship. So let's go back together, back to the drawing board, and refine our proposal. What does this product mean? What can this class be about? Okay, so you're going to be taking at least some 20 minutes in order to complete this new proposal. And finally, you are going to be sharing your ideas again with all the feedback, with all of the modifications, with all of the new ideas that you have incorporated into your proposal, into your solution, actually into your prototype, which is one of the phases of, being a successful entrepreneur, which is not a linear process, but rather a cycling process, right? So just as it is curriculum building, you would write something or try something and see the results, and then next semester or next year you come back and modify with everything that you have learned from your experience. So you're going to be sharing the final product, the final prototype for this phase of this workshop. And also getting some feedback between the teams and with the stakeholders who are part of this project. Finally, a call to action. What will you do to include entrepreneurship activities and vocabulary in your daily tasks? How can you foster an entrepreneurship mindset in your class, in your partners, even in your daily life? And how can you align with this journey? So, yes, with this is my proposal for aligning the entrepreneurship classes at Lincoln School in order to be as close as possible with the strategic anchor number 4 for the strategic plan, and also providing enough visibility for the new Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center, while keeping the students' attention active during the entrepreneurship process, and that it doesn't necessarily would mean an overlapping of the different classes, but rather just building a different experience for each of these. Um, Thanks for your attention. Goodbye.